Next up is One Key.
Designed by Atelier. It's the best I can do.
Sounds good.
Artist is Xavier, Gueniffey, Durin, and published by Libellud.
Fair enough. So One Key is basically, according to the internet, and every single comment I read, Mysterium meets Dixit. That's literally everybody's description. I went to the comments because I like to see what other people say about games, and the comments like Mysterium meets Dixit. Mysterium meets Dixit. Oh, it's kind of like Mysterium.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's quick Mysterium.
It is.
With a little code names sprinkled in there.
That's fair. That is true. So basically, you have this huge deck of cards. Think Dixit, not that style artwork, but the idea that there's a lot of random things going on. And you're going to throw 11 of those out on the table. One person, it's a fully co-op game, by the way. So one person's going to be the leader. All the other players are travelers, but they are working together to try to find out which card of those 11 that the leader has picked as the key, the one key. Now, he can't talk or say anything to you, so he has to give you clues in order to get you on the right path. The way he does that is they're going to have a screen that they're going to put stuff behind. But for the first round, what happens is he's going to flip over the top card of the deck, and he's going to put it on one of 3 cards. These cards are going to show if it has a weak link towards the key, basically how he feels this card matches the artwork on that card or the idea, the theme, the colors, anything. And then, or he could put it on the yellow card, which means, it's kind of hard to determine, or on the green card, and it says it has a strong link with the key that I selected.
Right, and the weak link was the red card.
Yes, correct. This is the red card. So then players have 3 minutes, and this is all simultaneously happening. So the 3 minutes for the travelers, they're going to talk and discuss and kind of organize the 11 cards on the table, how they want underneath the green card, the yellow card, and the red card to say, we want to keep these, but these are okay to cut based on the information we have. While they're doing that, the leader is got this screen. He's going to pull 3 new cards off the deck and put them on the screen. And then he has chips, like tokens, that represent these red, yellow, green stuff. And he's going to put them face down in front of all 3 of those, 1 per card, to say, well, maybe this one, if they pick it, it has a red. This one maybe has a red. This one's a yellow, or whatever. Then they wait around until both parties are ready. And then at the end of each round, the team has to, not the leader, but the travelers have to kill off a certain amount of cards. Basically 1 for the round number. So 1 the first round, 2 the second round, 3 the third round, 4 the fourth round, and then you have 1 card left, because that would be 10 cards in total, and then that last card needs to be the key or you lose.
And each round has a hard limit of 3 minutes.
Yes, it has a hard limit of 3 minutes. You can only discuss for 3 minutes, and you have to make that decision. At the end of all that, basically the leader will turn the board around, the screen around, and have you pick one of those new cards. You discuss as a team, you pick a card, and then you get the token associated with it, because you don't get to see if it's a green, yellow, or red. Obviously, that would give away too much. So you take the card, you get the token, and now you're like, oh, this is a green. That's awesome. So let's put it on the green card, and then you start it over again, and then you play 4 rounds. If at any point during a round they kill off the card that's the key, they lose, or everyone loses. Otherwise, you go on to the next round. The only other thing I would mention is there's a ticket, which is basically like a golden ticket, I guess, where during the selection of the 3 cards of the screen that the players are picking from the leader, you can spend that ticket to get a second card, because maybe you're like, I don't really like any of those. Well, let's just get 2 of them. Or maybe you're like, wow, both of these might have something to do based on the information we've gotten previously. So you might get 2 of those just to kind of make sure that you're getting a lot of information. And then at the end of the game, if they pick the right key, they win. Or anytime they've discarded it, they immediately lose. Or everyone immediately loses. So that's One Key. George, this is yours. So let's start with you.
I chose this game because it's charming, it's super fun, it's 12 minutes, it's very well paced because everyone's doing something all the time. I like the interactivity, I like the cooperative nature, I like the fact that there's discussion going on. It really is like a very fast Mysterium meets Dixit, and those are games that I love. So this one is one that I've played with a lot of groups, from non-gamers to veteran gamers, and everybody gets it really quickly. It's super easy to teach, and it just goes very smoothly, and I love it.
Eric, what about you?
I wish there was a little bit more theme in the game. I think I read through the rule book, and it was like 1 line. You're trying to find the key. So, slap a better theme on it, give it a little bit more of a backstory. I think that would help out a little bit. The game was okay for me. I don't know that I like the cards being cut out. I think for me...
I didn't like that either. So I don't know. Matt, did you check in this?
Yeah, I saw the picture, so it's pretty much...
Yeah, it's like picture like the artwork on the card, and then you cut the card out around it like the silhouette. Mm-hmm. So every card is a different shape.
I would imagine, I don't have the game, but I imagine it makes it harder to store it and put it back and get the cards together and all that.
Yeah, so. You feel like you don't want to bend the cards or mess them up, and you try to get them just into a loose pile, and they fit into this round thing in the box, but they do fit. So.
Yeah, but like some of their arms are sticking out because like what I will say about the artwork is it's a bunch of miniature things with miniature things. So it's like I don't know, like a crazy animal. It's a crazy animal running across like a tube of toothpaste.
Yeah, or riding on something,
but it's all miniature stuff. Mm-hmm. It's like they take everything and miniaturize it. Like one was like like a farm or something, but it was on the top of a sponge. Like those sponges that have like the green side and the yellow side.
Yeah.
And all the art's like that. So it's all like a bunch of miniature style artwork. But like the arm or a chimney might stick up and it's cut out around that. So you're right. Like there's a whole bunch of things that can just bend really easily.
Yeah, that is disappointing. I wish they would have just made them great big round cards or something.
Round cards would have been awesome. That's exactly what I thought.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it was okay for me. It's definitely a filler level game. You're going to play it multiple times. You might have everybody, how we did is have everybody play the leader once kind of thing. So you're either going to win or lose. So it is a fast game. And in that retrospect, I did like it. But for me, it kind of felt a little flat. I'd rather play something like Mysterium or something else.
Matt, what do you think? Have you checked this one?
I mean, the artwork looks very pretty.
Yeah.
It is kind of weird to see that with everything out, like you said, it's all cut out. So it's not a bunch of cards. It's like a bunch of things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, it sounds interesting. I mean, I like Mysterium. I like Dixit, I guess. And if it's kind of the mashed together, with it sounding the pace is fast, that, sounds a little bit more appealing too. So.
Yeah. I thought it was awesome. It's like super good. Although you could pretty much just own Dixit and play this game. You just use the Dixit cards and then like mock up a couple like tokens to assign to the cards. You don't really have to have this game, although obviously always support the publisher if you can. Mm-hmm. But if you wanted to try it out, it's easily done if you have a game like Dixit.
Right. Yeah.
And like the cool thing about it is it's funny because alpha gamers are real. Right? Alpha gamers try to take over this game. And alpha gamers may not actually steer you in the right direction because they have just as much clue as you do.
Right.
Because they might interpret a clue differently. Like we tend to really focus on colors a lot.
Which, might be way off left field. And that's one of the things, that I didn't like as much. And it is going to be pretty common in these types of games. But, the person that's the leader, they might just focus on one little bitty thing on the card. It has a girl in it, or... she has blonde hair and the mop is blonde or whatever.
Yeah.
So you focus on one little thing and maybe, your other players aren't going to think in the same way. So it is a game that definitely helps if you think a lot, think alike. Mm-hmm. But
let's talk about how we made it better by adding a traitor. Adding a traitor makes every game better.
And it was so much better.
Dude, it was so much fun.
That did help it for me.
Yeah. So we basically took a deck of playing cards and made one card like the Joker and then enough cards to fill up the rest. Passed them all out.
Plus one.
Obviously, the leader. Yeah, plus one. Obviously, the leader won't get a card because they can't be a traitor. That would be pointless. But one person becomes the traitor, but not even the leader knows who it is.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what was interesting is when the time it came and I was the leader and I was doing everything, Eric's like saying all this absolutely valued, like everything he said was correct. I'm like, this is all Eric gets it. I'm just thinking, listen to Eric.
Right.
Then it ends and he was the traitor. And he had literally threw them off by telling them all correct stuff. Not that you actually knew it was correct, but I think you read me pretty well.
Right.
Yes.
Playing the traitor where the traitor doesn't know the card either. And that just makes it really funny too.
Yeah. I would say for me, like the base game, it was okay for me. But adding that traitor element did, made it that much more better and entertaining.
Yeah, because the game has a little bit of arguing, but this arguing gets kind of out of hand to a fun degree.
We've only got 3 minutes to argue, so
Right.
Just, you must be the traitor. Stop talking. that doesn't even make any sense.
Right.
But you
was so
can't really
good.
harp on it too much because you're right. You only have 3 minutes to make a decision. So it was a fun variant.
absolutely.
Even though we end up playing it more as with the traitor than we actually did the base game. So
The game comes with a completely unnecessary app that we didn't even use. We just used a 3-minute timer, and I don't know. I went back and I looked at the app, and the app has the 4 rounds, and each of the rounds uses classical music as you're playing.
As a background music.
As background music, but it's things like the Nutcracker Suite and
turn that down.
the Charge of the Light Cavalry, that kind of like Cavalry Overture and that kind of stuff, where it's pretty exciting for classical music, right? But I don't know that it really fits. I don't know that it builds to the level.
It almost doesn't make sense to have that style of music, or
Yeah.
at least those songs.
Yeah.
Right.
It's more like circus music to me. It's like.
Well, I guess it kind of fits because all the artwork are like these
It's
really miniature,
weird
weird stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, the artwork is very bright and
Yeah.
and funny. There's a lot of funny.
There's a lot of funny,
pieces.
like he's using like a rake as a sword or something. Just
there's just all this really creative stuff. What the game really needs is, just like Dixit, a whole bunch more art, a whole bunch more cards.
no, that's fair.
Because we've already seen, the cards.
All
over
the
and over.
cards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we saw them multiple times. I mean, it's still a decent amount, but yeah, you go through them because you use what 11 plus 1, so
Yeah.
12, and then 13, 14, 15, at least 16 cards each time. There's only
Yeah.
60 or something, or 70.
Yeah, something like that. They need several more packs of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be cool. The app does have this cool little thing where each team can click the button to show that they're finished.
Yes.
I don't think it's necessary, but it is
No.
neat that it's in the app. So yeah, it's probably not necessary, but it's free.
Yeah, definitely
So,
not.
whatever.
Yeah.
Anything else? Well, how did you
Nope.
feel about it? Did you like? Well, we already talked about it, I guess.
Yeah. So for me, it was okay. Base game. Add a trader variant. It made it better.
Yeah, I really did like the trader variant. It was just silly and fun.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
especially at the end, whenever somebody reveals who they are, and then you really deconstruct all their logic through the whole game.
Right.
Like, you jerk. So,
Yeah. Really good.
anything else? Cool. That is One Key.